Hello, good afternoon everyone. I am Casey Gumarao and today we are going to discuss the turnership in the Philippines under the American with my co-reporters. The American were aware that the cause of social UN in the Philippines was landlessness, and they attempted to put an end to deplorable conditions to the tenant farmers by passing several land policies to increase the small landholders and distribute ownership to a bigger number of Filipino tenants and farmers. The Philippine Bill of 1902 provided regulations on the disposal of public land. So, this Philippine Bill, also known as Cooper Act, it provided a Bill of Rights for the Filipinos that protected after rights to live, to acquire property, to practice the religion, and to be subjected. Private individual may own 16 hectares of lands, while corporate landholders may have 1,024 hectares. In addition, Americans were also given the rights to own agricultural land in the country. So one of those are those Americans who owns a huge business. In fact, they are said to be concerned with protecting existing investments from future government restrictions. So they are also eager to be included in tax and capital incentives offered as part of government policy to attract investments. So they have rights to own an agricultural land but in part of their business, but they have responsibilities especially in paying tax, just like what other Filipino do in accordance of our government policy. The Philippine Constitution also enacted Act number 496 or the Land Registration Act, which introduced the torrent system, absence of earlier records of issued land titles, and conduct accurate surveys. This act is to measure the lots, yung tinatawag nilang surveys. Diyan yun minimeasure kung hanggang saan or gaano kalaki yung lupa ng bawat isa, and para mabigyan ng titulo kung sino talaga yung tunay na may-ari ng lupa, and para mabawasan na rin yung agawan ng lupa. As President Marcos said na American residents here who own home lots of no more than 1.25 acres more time to comply with the legal requirements to transfer them to Filipinos. So, yung acres na yan, mas malaki pa yan sa hectares. That's why they need to pass requirements. And yung sinasabi na surveys, they need to magpa-survey kasi for them to have proof and also to continue holding on to their lots. So, para magstay sila and manatili silang owner ng kanilang lupa. In 1903, the homestead program was introduced to enter to an agricultural business by acquiring a farm of at least 16 hectares. This program, however, was limited to areas in northern Luzon and Mindanao, where colonial penetration had been difficult for Americans, a problem they inherited from Spaniards. And introduced the homestead system in the Philippines, which has a Tenancy Acts of 1933, Act number 4054 and 4113, regulated relationships between landowners and tenants of rice 50-50, showing sugarcane lands. So to those who do not know what is tenants, tenants are those people na nagre-rent ng lupa para makapagtanim sila ng palay, and then pagdating ng harvest, yung may-ari ng palay makakuha ng 50% and yung may-ari naman ng lupa ay makakuha din ng 50%. So yun yung inintroduce nila in 1903.
Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Ito po ang aking report. Ay hindi bumuti ang pagmamay-ari ng lupa noong panahon ng mga Amerikano. Sa katunayan, lumala pa ito dahil walang limitasyon sa laki ng mga landholding na maaaring taglayin ng mga tao, at ang accessibility ng posisyon ay limitado sa mga kakayahang bumili, magparehistro at magkakuha ng fixed property titles. Hindi lahat ng lupaing private na nakuha ng mga Amerikano ay binigay sa mga magsasaka na walang lupa. Ang ilang mga lupain ay binenta o inupahan sa interes ng negosyong Amerikano at Pilipino. Ang magang programang ito ay reforma sa lupa ay pinatupad din ng walang mga mekanismo ng suporta, kung saan isang walang lupang magsasaka ay tumatanggap ng lupa. Siya ay isang tumanggap lamang ng lupa pero wala ng iba pa. Marami ang napilitang bumalik sa pangungupahan, at ang mayayamang Pilipinong hasyendero ay binili o pilit na kinuha ng mga lupain sa mga magsasaka na hindi kayang bayaran ang kanilang mga utang. Ang sistemang ipinakilala ng mga Amerikano ay nagbigay daan sa mas maraming lupain na mailagay sa lalim ng pangungupahan na umanong sa makalawakang pag-aalsa ng mga magsasaka tulad ng pag-aalsa ng kolorom at sakdal sa Luzon. Nakahanap ng kunlungan ang magsasaka at manggagawa mula sa mga kilusang milenaryan na nagbigay sa kanila ng pag-asa na ang pagbabago ay maaari pa ring mangyari sa pamamagitan ng malitansya.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Nathaniel Gigawin.
Or Sakdalista uprising was a peasant rebellion in a central Luzon that lasted for 2 days, May 2 to 3, 1935. It was easily crushed by the government forces then, but this historical event tells of social inequality brought about by issues in land ownership and tenancy in the country. Ang Samahang Sakdal o Sakdalista ay isang rebelyon ng mga magsasaka noong 1935 na tumagal ng 2 araw sa Central Luzon. Ang makasaysayang pangyayaring ito ay naging simbolo ng hindi pantay na pag-aari sa lupa at pangungupahan sa bansa. The Filipino word Sakdal means to accuse, which is the title of the newspaper helmed by Benigno Ramos. He rallied support from Maniland, nearby provinces through the publication, which led establishment of the Partido Sakdalista in 1933. They demand reforms the government such as the abolition of taxes, equal or common ownership of the land, among others. They also opposed the dominant nationalista party's acceptance of gradual independence from the United States, and instead demanded immediate severance of ties with America. Si Benigno Ramos ay isang author at writer na nagtatatag sa Samahang Partido Sakdalista noong 1933. Kanyang sinuportahan ang Manila at ang mga karatig probensya sa pamamagitan ng paglathala ng dyaryong pinamagatang Sakal. Ito ang naging simula ng Samahang Partido Sakdalista. Nais ng samahang ito na hingin ang reforma ng pagtutupad ng ekwal na pag-aari sa lupa at abolisyon ng buwis. Isa sa mga advokasya ni Ramos ay ang pagiging malaya ng Pilipinas sa Estados Unidos. For the new party with a small clout, they did well in 1934 general election, scoring 3 seats in the House of Representatives and several local posts. This encouraged them to attempt an uprising in 1935. Upon being crushed, Ramos fled to Tokyo and Partido Sakdalista collapsed. Noong 1934, ang Samahang Partido Sakdalista ay naging matagumpay sa pagkakaroon ng posisyon sa House of the Representatives at ang mga lokal na pamahalaan. Nang dahil sa progresong ito, sila nahimok na umalsa ng rebelyon. Ngunit sa kasamaang palad, hindi sila naging matagumpay at naging dahilan ng pagtakas ni Ramos papuntang Tokyo at nagsanhi sa tuluyang pagbaksak ng Partido Sakdalista noong taong 1935. During the years of Commonwealth government, the situation further worsened. A peasant uprising increased and the landlord-tenant relationship became more and more desperate. President Quezon laid down the social justice program focused on the purchase of haciendas, which were to be divided and sold to tenants. His administration also created the National Rice and Corn Corporation to assign public defenders to assist peasants in courts battle for their rights to the land. In the Court of Industrial Relations to exercise jurisdiction over disagreements arising from the landowner-tenant relationship. The Homestead Program also continued through the National Land Settlement Administration. Efforts towards agrarian reform by the Commonwealth failed because of many problems such as budget allocation for the settlement program and widespread peasant uprisings. World War II put a halt to all intervention to solve these problems as the Japanese occupied the country. The uprising of the rebellion worsened during the Commonwealth government years. The administration of Quezon created the social justice programs that can purchase haciendas and will be divided to the tenants. One of these programs is the National Rice and Corn Corporation or NARIC. The goal of this program is to assist the peasants of farmers to the court battles for their rights, and this includes their rights to the land. On the other hand, the Court of Industrial Relations exercise jurisdiction over the conflict between the tenants and the landlords. This program has continued up to the National Land Settlement Administration or NLSA. This controversy has not been amended because of the World War II and due to the occupation of the Japanese in country.